Hi everyone, welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. This is the video for the 28th of May. Now let's quickly proceed and have a look at the pointers of discussion for the day. So first of all, in the editorial segment, we have an Indian Express article to discuss. See, this article essentially talks about an ad which was run by BJP, which allegedly was against TMC, and it was derogatory. It was not in the, it was not in a good and democratic spirit. So the concerned political party, which is aggrieved here, which is TMC. TMC approached the Calcutta High Court. Now, the single judge bench of the Calcutta High Court said something about the order. Then the matter reached the division bench of the High Court and eventually to the Supreme Court. So we'll understand what was this ad, why did it violate the Model Code of Conduct, what the Supreme Court has said, what was the ruling of the Calcutta High Court, and other aspects of it. Secondly, we talk about the news updates, and this will be followed by the last segment of legal news. So without further ado, let's start with the article. Let's have a look at the title of it first. BJP ads against TMC, why Supreme Court declined to entertain BJP's plea against Calcutta High Court order. Now, if you have a look at the heading itself, we'll be able to jot down some pointers. So there is an ad run by BJP against TMC. Now, BJP eventually reached the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court said we are not inclined to entertain the plea against Calcutta High Court's order. So that means the High Court's order is sustaining currently. In light of this, let's understand the context. See, the Supreme Court refused to entertain a challenge which was brought by BJP against Calcutta High Court order. Now, what was the High Court's order? See, the High Court essentially directed the political party, BJP, to not publish derogatory ads against TMC. A vacation bench of the Honorable Supreme Court said that these ads, they were prima facie disparaging, they were not in a good taste, and were therefore not inclined to interfere with the High Court's order. Further, the vacation bench stated that you can say that you're the best, but we do not want to lend our hands to promote further acrimony. This is not in the interest of the voters, and this will denigrate, don't precipitate the issue. This is what the vacation bench had to say on this matter. Now, the counsel representing BJP, he sensed the fact that, this petition will not end in their favor. So therefore, he withdrew the petition while seeking liberty to approach the single judge bench of the High Court with a reply and seek the remedy that they have therefrom. So let's understand what is this entire issue. So let's see what was the High Court, what were the proceedings before the High Court. Please understand, before the High Court, proceedings were two-pronged. That is to say, first, the matter was before the single judge bench, then it went to the division bench in an intra-court appeal. So let's understand what happened before the single judge bench. So the single judge bench of Justice Sabyasachi Bhattacharya on 20th of May, restrained BJP from publishing ads in any form of media which is violative of the Model Code of Conduct until June 4th, which is the date of counting of votes, or until further orders, whichever is earlier. Now, if you remember, I believe by 28th of March this year around, the Model Code of Conduct was imposed in our country by the Election Commission of India owing to the general elections, the Lok Sabha elections for the year 2024. So when the Model Code of Conduct was imposed, we did a couple of articles on what is a Model Code of Conduct. See, Model Code of Conduct essentially is an instrument which is employed by the Election Commission of India to put forth certain guidelines for the political parties to follow and strictly observe while the period of Model Code of Conduct is in force. So let's say this year around 28th March was the date when MCC was imposed. So from that date to the counting of votes, which is when the MCC usually ends, the political parties have to observe certain conduct. And if they default on the MCC guidelines, then the Election Commission of India has to take certain steps. So, for instance, it can ask the political party to, issue unconditional apology, and there are other repercussions as well for those who violate and flout these MCC guidelines. So, for instance, for general public, there are guidelines that you cannot carry a certain cash amount while the MCC is in force. So there are a couple of other guidelines of the same nature. Political parties, they are debarred from issuing certain ads on the lines of religion, caste, all of these factors. So the court single judge bench said that until the MCC is in force, and it will end on the 4th of June when we'll see the results of Lok Sabha elections, or until further orders, whichever is earlier, you are barred from publishing ads in any form which are violative of the Model Code of Conduct. Further, the single judge bench said that approval of the impugned ad, it clearly evinces that those are in violation of the letter and the spirit of the MCC, and in the garb of ads, the allegations and the publications which were made against the petitioner TMC, they are outright derogatory and definitely intended at insulting the rivals and leveling personal attacks against its functionaries. Also, this is an important point because, see, as I mentioned, if there is any violation, any political party which flouts the Model Code of Conduct, then the concerned authority to address the grievance is the Election Commission of India. So let's say if I come across any violations, so I can file a complaint to the Election Commission of India saying that, so-and-so political party, so-and-so person has violated the MCC, so please kindly act accordingly. So then the Election Commission has the duty, the obligation to act accordingly. But here, the single judge bench noted that the Election Commission of India grossly failed to address the complaints which were raised by the TMC in due time, and therefore the court reprimanded the Election Commission of India for its non-action. In its challenge before the two-judge bench of the High Court, now see, this is what had happened before the single judge bench. Then, as usually happens in the High Court, the appeal goes to a division bench in the form of an intra-court appeal. So the division bench was approached. The division bench 2 days later, on 22nd of May, dismissed the petition. The LPA, it dismissed the petition saying that, we have not found any ground for interfering with the single judge bench order. So in its challenge before the division bench of the Calcutta High Court, the BJP contended that it hadn't been heard by the single judge bench, and that the 20th of May order, which is the single judge bench order, it was passed in the absence of following the procedure. The BJP argued that it should be entitled to place its submissions before the court, but the division bench, it did not find any substance in its allegation and therefore dismissed the LPA. However, while doing so, the division bench said that you're not remediless. Don't feel that because this petition is dismissed, you do not have any remedy. You do have the remedy of approaching the single judge bench itself, seeking review of its order, seeking modification or recall of its order. Now let's understand what the Model Code of Conduct says with respect to the advertisements which were issued by, let's say, BJP. So this was cited by TMC in its argument. TMC essentially, I'll give you a crux of this entire discussion. TMC essentially said that what you're advertising, it is absolutely wrong. And the reason is because the MCC clearly says that you cannot put out an advertisement on the lines of caste, religion, and all of these. But one of your ads, it read Sanatan Birodhi Trinamool. So which means anti-Sanatan TMC. So this is diametrically contrary to the MCC. Why? Because it is on the lines of religion as a factor. So therefore, it is a violation of the Model Code of Conduct. Further, it said that despite filing complaints with the Election Commission of India after each such publication, it received no response from the ECI. The Model Code of Conduct published on 28th of March by the Election Commission of India, it states that the criticism of other political parties when made, it shall be confined to their policies, or it can be confined to their programs, their past records and work. Criticism of other parties or their works based on unverified allegation or distortions, however, should be avoided. It further states that the party in power at the center or in the state, they shall ensure that no cause is given for any complaint that it has used its official position for its election campaign, particularly for issuance of ads at the cost of public exchequer in newspapers and other media, and misuse of official mass media during election period for partisan covering, that is to say for partial coverage of political news and publicity regarding achievements to increase the ruling party's chance of winning. See, essentially, the MCC points out and highlights that a political party which is in power cannot leverage its official position to bring ads at the cost of public exchequer, which are partisan, which are interested ads, which put the governing party in limelight and cast a very disparaging sort of a shadow upon the other party's interest so as to influence voters. You cannot do so. The TMC also argued that the BJP had published these ads during the silent period of 48 hours, ending with the hour fixed for the close of the casting of votes. The court said the BJP's ads, these were directly contrary to the Model Code of Conduct and they were violative of the citizens' right to free, fair, and untainted election process. It also said that print media should refrain from publishing unverified allegations against candidates or political parties, either directly or impliedly, and these are contained in the guidelines which was issued by the Press Council of India. Let's see what Press Council of India says. What are the guidelines? So these guidelines issued by the PCI back in 2010, they asked the member of the press to not accept or publish any ad at the cost of public exchequer regarding achievement of a political party or the government in power. Further, the single judge bench noted that the allegations in the ad, they are not in the form of news items, nor do they refer to any specific source for making the said blanket allegation. The name of the advertiser, it appears in microscopically small print, thereby giving an impression that the same is a general article. So now it'll be interesting for us to see when the BJP approach or the single judge bench again, what will happen eventually. We'll keep a tap of this update. Now we proceed to the national news, and this is the first update. This is an update for all the cricket lovers. So as we all know, the IPL season for the year 2024, it has come to an end with Kolkata Knight Riders being the winners, and they've created history. Why? Because they've clinched their third title after a resounding 8-wicket victory over Sunrisers Hyderabad. DD Kisan launched AI anchors Krish and Bhoomi. This is also a very interesting update in a world which is progressively moving towards the use of AI. DD Kisan, a television channel under the Union Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, it has developed two AI anchors. These AI anchors are AI Krish and AI Bhoomi to present the channel in a new avatar. The AI anchors, they can speak nearly 50 Indian and foreign languages, provide information about agricultural research, trends in agriculture mandis, weather changes, and government schemes. UP's Arti receives Amal Clooney Women's Empowerment Award from King Charles III. So this is a very important update, and in fact, an update which should make us all very proud. All of us very proud. So in a remarkable testament to the power of determination and the power and strength of resilience, Arti, she's merely 18-year-old. She hails from the Baharech district in UP. She's been honored with the prestigious Amal Clooney Women's Empowerment Award by King Charles III of the United Kingdom. Now, a question might arise in your mind as to why, as in, what is her achievement, which has gotten her this coveted award. So the reason here is because of her inspiring journey as an e-rickshaw driver and her role in empowering other young women in her community. Now we have two updates from the sports category. Other updates, the kind of updates that make us proud. So Deepa Karmarkar, she wins Asian Championship gold medal. She has become the first woman in pole vault sport to win at Asian Championship in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. India's Simran Sharma wins gold medal at the World Para Athletics Championship. Simran Sharma, she wins the gold, and she wins the gold medal with her personal best of 24.95 seconds. She earns the 6th yellow medal in World Para Athletics Championship. Apart from her, we have Dominican Darlens de la Severino, and we have Lorraine Gomes de Aguirre. They have respectively won the silver and bronze medals. Now, this has brought us to the international segment for today. The first update is about a meeting of South Korea, China, Japan. So the leaders of these countries, they've met for the first summit in nearly 5 years. The summit, it is aiming at improving relations amidst growing friction over trade and security issues among these nations. The meeting, it was stalled for nearly 5 long years due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the geopolitical tensions. The summit, it comes as China pushes back against US tightening of chip export rules, a move to hinder China's chip-making industry. Shahid Afridi has been appointed as the ICC Men's T20 World Cup brand ambassador. This is an important update for exam purposes. So the International Cricket Council, the global governing body of cricket, it has appointed the legendary Pakistan cricketer Shahid Afridi as the brand ambassador for the upcoming 9th edition of ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Now, this has brought us to the legal segment for today, where we have an update from the Honorable Supreme Court. Supreme Court rejects argument that political parties' promises in Manifesto for financial aid, it will amount to corrupt practice by candidate. Let's see what is this update all about. So the Supreme Court, while hearing an appeal arising out of the dismissal of an election petition, has refused to accept an argument which was to the effect that commitments by political parties in their manifesto, which eventually leads to direct and indirect financial help to the public at large, it will also amount to corrupt practice by a candidate of that political party. The court termed this argument as being too far-fetched. The court noted in this respect that the contention of the council that the commitments by a political party in its manifesto, which eventually leads to direct or indirect financial help to the public at large, it will also amount to corrupt practice by a candidate of that political party. It is far-fetched and it cannot be accepted. In view of this, so this is with respect to the factual aspect of it. This is not necessary for our consideration. So the name of this particular case is Shashanka J. Sridhar versus BZ Zamir Ahmad Khan. So this is brought us to an end of our TNA. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day ahead.